Hi everyone. So in this video, we're going to be learning how to create algebraic expressions using DiN0. So DiN0 is a great tool. He's a dinosaur that's going to help us build algebraic expressions because his name is an acronym. So the DI in DiN0 stands for the difference between the terms. And then the N is the variable that we'll be using. So a variable, again, is a letter that we use to represent an unknown number. So anytime now in algebra that you see a letter in the math, that means that it's an unknown number. And then we have term 0, okay? So we need to find the difference between the terms, insert a variable, and find term 0, okay? So in this sequence, or in this video, I will be giving you a series of linear sequences. So just to recall, a linear sequence is when we are adding or subtracting. So we're increasing or decreasing by the same number every time. We are going to take that linear sequence or that linear pattern and put it into a T-chart. Some of you call a T-chart a T-table. That is okay. Then we are going to find the difference between the terms. Okay, then we are going to find the value for term 0. This will help us create an algebraic expression. And finally, we will solve for term 25 and 42. Now, why 25 and 42? For absolutely no good reason. I just picked these numbers to help us. This is DiN0, and he is helping us stay safe. So let's get started. Okay, so in the first one, we have a pattern of 5, 8, 11, 14, 17. So our step 1 is to put this linear pattern into a T-chart. So what I've done already is I've created a T-chart. On the left side, we have the word term, and then on the right side, we have the term value. And I have 5 different terms. So what I would go do is then fill them in. So of course, if you're doing this outside of this video, you will actually have to go in and build this T-chart yourself. So 5, 8, 11, 14, 17. That's the pattern we're working with. So then I'm going to grab a pen or a pencil. Okay, and I'm going to ask myself, well, what is the difference between these terms? So step 2 is find the difference between the terms. So the difference between 5 and 8 is plus 3. The difference between 8 and 11 is plus 3 as well. The difference between 11 and 14 is also plus 3. And then the difference between 14 and 17 is 3. So now we know that the difference between my terms is 3. So DI equals plus 3. The nth term, all we do is put in a variable n. And then we need to find the 0 term. So we can do that by adding 0 as the term. And then we ask ourselves, well, something here plus 3 is equal to 5. So we might also be tempted to say, okay, let's put this plus 3 here. And okay, something here plus 3 is equal to 5. And hopefully you're able to see that that number is 2. And so my 0 term is positive 2. So I would put that all together now as an expression to end up 3n plus 2. Okay, so that is my expression. Now I'm wanting to use my expression to solve term 25 and 42. So the first thing I need to do when solving an algebraic expression is write down the expression that I am going to use to solve. Okay, and then what I want to do is put equals and then pop in the term that I'm looking for. So I'm looking for term number 25. And then plus 42. And then I can solve my solving process. I can start my solving process. 3 times 25 is 75 plus 42 Okay, I'll give you a second there. 117. Okay, I'm going to take out my trusted calculator to see if I did that math right, and I did. So what that tells me is that when my term is 25, I'm just going to put this. When my term is 25, my value is 117. Okay? Awesome. So now I want to solve for term 42. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab a text box. And in my text box, I would put in my expression first, 3n plus 42. And then I would have an equal symbol 3 times. I'm searching for the term 42. Okay. And then I'm going to start solving. 3 times 42 is 126 plus 42. So 126 plus 42 is 168. So what that means is on my T-chart, when I have term 42, my value is equal to 168. All right, awesome. So that's question number 1. Let's get to question number 2. So question number 2, I have a different pattern, 12, 17, 22, 27, 32. Now again, when you're solving, you would go into term, put your term in. So remember, term is on the left side, values on the right side of your T-chart. And then I would fill in my values. So I'll just do that, 12, 17, 22, 27, and 32, okay? So then I put the linear pattern into a T-chart. Good, step 1, find the difference between the terms. So that is the DI and DiN0. I'm just gonna grab my trusted pen. The difference between 12 and 17, I know is plus 5. The difference between 17 and 22 is also plus 5. The difference between 22 and 27 is plus 5. And the difference between 27 and 32 is also plus 5. So what that tells me is that the DI, aka the difference between the terms, is plus 5. The n represents our variable, which again, we're just going to use n. You can use any variable you want, so if you don't like the letter n, you're welcome to switch it to x, t, d, anything that you like. And then now we're looking for term 0. So the number 0, term 0 is before term 1. So I'm going to add a 0 here and try and figure out what this number is. So every number going down adds 5. Every number going up subtracts 5. So realistically, 12 minus 5 will be term 0. So term 0 should be 7, because 7 plus 5 is 12. And that's a positive 7, not a negative 7. So now I can put all my information together to create an algebraic expression. The difference between my terms is 5n plus 7. That is step 4. Step 5 is solve for term 25 and 42. So with a text box, I'm going to say 5n plus 7 is my algebraic expression. Then I'm going to use it to solve, so where I see my variable n, I'm going to be adding term 25 or replacing it with term 25 so that we could solve for the value. 5 times 25 is 125 plus 7 is equal to 132. Okay. So that is term 25. And so what that means to me is that when my term is 25, my value will be 132. Good. Now I'm wondering about my term 42. So I'll do the same thing, start with my algebraic expression, which is 5n plus 7. Then I need to replace my variable with the term I'm looking to solve. So it equals 5 times 42 plus 7. 5 times 42 is 210 plus 7. And so when my term is 42, my value will be 217. So I can just place that here. When my term is 42, my value will be 217. Okay, awesome. So let's move on to question 3. So question 3, we're working with the pattern 3, 7, 11, 15, 19. So again, your first step is to put your linear pattern into a T-chart. On the left side, we have term. On the right side, we have value. We have 5 terms that are given to us. So that is 3, 7, 11, 15, and 19. I can save myself trouble by knowing that later I'm looking for term 25 and 42. But right now, I do not know those values. So my first step is find the difference between the terms. So again, the difference between the terms here, between 3 and 7 is plus 4. 7 and 11 is also plus 4. The difference between 11 and 15 is plus 4. The difference between 15 and 19 is plus 4. Okay, so I know that the DI of DiN0, the beginning is plus 4. The n just stands for the variable that we're going to bring down, which is n. And then I need to find term 0. So when term is 0, when my term is 0, what is my value? So something plus 4 is equal to my term 0. Okay? So you could work backwards by saying 3 minus 4 is my value. So that would get you -1. Okay, so my step 2 was find the difference between terms. Step 3 was find the value for the term 0. And 4, create an algebraic expression. So this one's the one where we just put all our information together. We end up with 4n minus 1. Now we have to solve for term 25 and 42. So again, to get full marks, what I'm going to do is start with my algebraic expression. So 4n minus 1. And then I'm going to replace my variable with the term I'm looking for. So I end up with 4 times 25 minus 1. So 4 times 25 is 100 minus 1. And my final answer is 99. So that means when my term is 25, my value will be 99. We're going to do the same thing again, but this time we're looking for term 42. 4n minus 1. Then we will replace our variable with the term we are looking for. So 4 times 42 minus 1. 4 times 42 is 168 minus 1. 168 minus 1 is 167. So what that means is that when my term is 42 over here, my value will be 167. Awesome. Question 4. Okay, so this time my pattern is 13, 23, 33, 43, 53. Again, you are going to create your T-chart. Then I will go ahead and replace these numbers. 13, 23, 33, 43, 53. Step 1, find the difference between the terms. Difference between the terms here is plus 10. Again, plus 10. Plus 10. And plus 10. So the difference between the terms, or the DI of DiN0, is 10. or plus 10. Now I know that the variable I want to use is n. And then my term 0 is the one I need to solve for. So I have term 0 here, and I want to find my value. So going down, we're adding 10 every time. So this will be no different. So something plus 10 equals 3, or 13 minus 10 will equal term 0. So the answer is 3. So 3 plus 10 is 13, and so on. So positive 3. Okay, I can now fill in my expression. So create an algebraic expression. That means I'm just putting the information in. 10n plus 3. Awesome. So I'm now looking for term 25 and 42. Again, I'm using a text box. I'm using the full expression to start. So 10n plus 3. Then I will replace my variable with the term I'm looking for. So 10 times 25 plus 3. Then I will solve. 10 times 25 is 250 plus 3. So when my term is 25, my value is 253. And then I would add that to my t-chart just to show my teacher that I understand. Okay, so now I'm looking for term 42. Again, we're going to grab a text box, 10n, and start with our algebraic expression, 10n plus 3. I'm going to replace my variable by the term I'm looking for. So 10 times 42 plus 3. That gives us 420 plus 3. And my final answer is 423. So again, in my t-chart, I know that when my term is 42, my value will be 423. Awesome. This is question 4. If you're starting to understand, you're welcome to quit this video. The video does answer all of the homework questions that I've given you. There are a total of 15 homework questions, so I will continue. You're welcome to continue watching, and hopefully we're starting to figure this out. So we're looking at our linear expression. This time we have 5, 14, 23, 32, 41. So this one's looking a little weirder than the ones that we're used to. So the first step, put linear pattern into a t-chart. Your teacher's awesome, has already built you this t-chart, aka me. You're welcome. So we are going to erase this and go 5, 14, 23, 32, 41. So now in the past, we'd like to skip count. We do things like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then we can figure out really quickly what term 20 would be. This one's a little weird, so that would be a little hard. So let's grab our pen or pencil and say, well, what's the difference between 5 and 14? It is plus 9. The difference between 14 and 23 is plus 9. The difference between 23 and 32 is 9. And the difference between 32 and 41 is plus 9. So we know that the DI for DiN0 is the difference between the terms, and that is plus 9. The variable that we are going to be using is n. And then we're looking for term 0. So term 0 here, what is the value? So we know that something plus 9 is equal to 5, or I can work backwards and say 5 minus 9 is something, which is negative 4. Negative 4. All right, so I just found the difference between terms, step 2. Step 3, I found the value for term 0. Step 4, create an algebraic expression. So an algebraic expression is just when we put all our information together. So we end up with 9n minus 4. Hey, now I'm solving for term 25 and 42. So 9n minus 4 is the expression I'm using. What I want to do is replace my variable with the term I'm looking for. So that means 9 times 25 minus 4. 9 times 25 is 225 minus 4. And so my final answer is 221. And what that means is that when my term is 25, my value is 221. Okay, and now we're solving for term 42. 9n. Again, I start with my expression, 9n minus 4 equals, I'm just replacing my variable with the term I'm looking for, 9 times 42 minus 4. 9 times 42 is 378 minus 4. My final answer is 374. So what that means is when my term is 42, my value is 374. Okay, awesome. Let's keep going. This is question 6 on your worksheets. So 7, 13, 19, 25, 31. So again, step 1, put the linear pattern into a T-chart. We are almost there. Let's complete the T-chart here. 7, 13, 19, 25, 31. We need to find the difference between these terms. That's step 2. So the difference between 7 and 13 is plus 6. Here we have plus 6 again between 13 and 19. 19 and 25, the difference is plus 6. And again, 25 and 31, the difference is plus 6. So we're looking then, the next step is to just write down our difference. The DI in DiN0 stands for difference between terms. The difference is plus 6. The n tells us that it is a variable. We are using the variable n. And now we are looking for term 0. So when the term is 0, what is the value? So I could ask myself 2 different questions. Well, something plus 6 is 7, or 7 minus 6 is something, and that something is 1. And we know that that 1 is positive because we do not have a negative sign next to it. Awesome. Our next step is create an algebraic expression. We're using all the information that we have to say, well, 6n plus 1 is my algebraic expression. I am now solving for term 25 and term 42. Again, I always start with my expression. I lost my text box. Okay, so 6n minus 1. I will replace my variable with the term I'm looking for. So 6 times 25 minus 1. Okay, so that's 150 minus 1. And then that would be equal to 149. Okay, so what that tells me is that when my term is 25, my value is 149. Awesome. We're now searching for term 42. Again, I start with my expression, 6n minus 1. I'm replacing my variable with the term I'm looking for, which is now 42. So 6 times 42 minus 1. 6 times 42 is 252. Minus 1, I end up with 251. So what that tells me is when my term is 42, my value is 251. Awesome. We are now on question 7. Question 7 is 5, 11, 17, 23, 29. Again, step 1, put the linear pattern into a T-chart. So I'm going to start by doing that. 5, 11, 17, 23, 29. Awesome. Find the difference between the terms. The difference between 5 and 11 is again plus 6. 11 and 17 is plus 6. The difference between 17 and 23 is plus 6. And the difference between 23 and 29 is plus 6. So our DI for DiN0, or difference between the terms, is plus 6. The n in DiN0 just tells us that it's a variable. And the 0 is us telling us that we need to look for term 0. So when the term is 0, what is the value? So I have two options. Again, I can say, well, something plus 6 equals 5, or 5 minus 6 is something, and I know that that's -1. Okay, then I create an algebraic expression, 6n minus 1. Okay, awesome. So I have an algebraic expression. My next goal is to solve for term 25 and 42. So this might be getting repetitive, but you want to be telling yourself these steps because you don't want to skip any. Start with the algebraic expression. That is 6n minus 1. It is equal to 6n times the term we are looking for, which is 25, minus 1. 6 times 25 is 150 minus 1. That is equal to 149. So I know that when my term is 25, my value will be 149. Okay, next we're looking for term 42. 6n minus 1 is my expression. I always start there. 6 times 42 minus 1. 6 times 42 is 252 minus 1. And so my final answer is 251. So when my value is my term is 42, my value will be 251. Awesome. We are now on question 8. So my pattern this time is 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Step 1, put the linear pattern into a T-chart. So let's do that. 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. I then want to find the difference between the terms. That's step 2. This is plus 2. This is plus 2. This is plus 2. And this is plus 2. Awesome. So the D in DiN0 tells us that our difference between the terms is plus 2. Our n is just the fact that we're going to use the variable n. And then the 0 tells us we need to search for term 0. So when my term is 0, what is my variable? Or what is my value? Sorry. So again, I have two options. I can say something plus 2 is equal to 7, or 7 minus 2 is equal to that number, to something. So 7 minus 2 is 5. And that number is positive, so it is plus 5. Now I can fill in my algebraic expression, 2n plus 5. Yay! I can now use this expression to find absolutely any term that I want to look for. I have asked you to find term 25 and 42. So I start with my algebraic expression, 2n plus 42. I replace the variable by the term I am looking for, so 2 times 25 plus 5. Okay, so 2 times 25 is 50, plus 5 is equals to 55. And what that means is that when my term is 25, my value is 55. So I'm also asking you to find term 42. So again, I would use a text box. I would start by writing my expression in, plus 5. I would replace my expression with the term I'm looking for, so 2 times 42 plus 5. 2 times 42 is 84 plus 5. And then my final answer is 91. So what that tells me is that when my term is 42, my value is 91. Awesome. Okay, ready to go on? This is now question 9, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. Put the linear pattern into a T-chart. Find the difference between the terms. Find the value for term 0. Create an algebraic expression. Solve term for 25 and 42. I'm going to pause this video. I'm asking you to pause the video and go ahead and do this work in your math notebooks, or go ahead and do this work, and let's see if we come up with the same thing. Okay, so hopefully you were able to come up with something that looks a little bit similar to my work or completely similar to my work as well. So hopefully you found that the difference between all the terms was 7. The nth term is just meaning that we're using n as a variable. The 0 term is equal to 7. So we ended up with an algebraic expression that is 7n plus 7. To solve for term 25, all you would have done is pop in the number 25 instead of your variable to give you the number 182, which means that when your term is 25, it should be equal to 182, your value. And then when your term is 42, again, you're just popping that into your expression, turning it into an equation, and your value should be 307. So when your term is 42, your value is 307. Okay, so now we're working with question 11. Is this the same one? No, sorry, this is question 10. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. So again, we are going to pause this video at this point right now. Pause this video, go ahead and do your work, and we'll come back together to make sure that you're fully understanding. Pause this video here. Awesome, so hopefully you were able to see that the difference between the terms was plus 8. The n is just, we're using the variable n, and then our term 0 was 0, which means that when we wrote out our algebraic expression, we didn't need to put it in. So really your algebraic expression ended up 8n. To solve for term 25, all you did was pop your term number into the variable, so you should have 8n equals 8 times 25, which is equal to 200. Sorry for forgetting my equal sign there. And then term 42 would be 8n equals 8n times 42, which is equal to 336. And then so we would add that to our term, to our t-chart to tell us, well, when my term is 25, my value is 200. And then over here, when my term is 42, my value is 336. Awesome. Okay, we are moving on to question 11. Question 11 is 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. So because this one is negative, we're going to work on this one together. So we're working with a decreasing pattern. So again, we're going to put our linear pattern into our t-chart. So let's start with 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. Okay, we need to find the difference between our terms. Here we see it's minus 2, minus 2, minus 2, and minus 2. Okay, so our difference between the terms, aka our D in the DiN0, is negative 2. Our variable is n. And we need to find our term 0. So we know that something minus 2 is equal to 8, or 8 plus 2 is equal to this number, which is 10. And that number is positive. So for the first time, we have an expression that has the difference between the terms being negative. So it is negative 2n plus 10. Now, no difference. We need to solve for term 25. Solving just like we would before. So we'll start with negative 2n plus 10 equals negative 22. And again, I just pop in the term I'm looking for, plus 10. Okay, negative 2 times 25. So you owe somebody $25 2 times. You now owe them $50 plus 10. And again, I always use money as a reference, as we've discussed in class in previous lessons. So we owe somebody $50 and we give them, and we have $10. How much is our bank book at the end? It is still negative at negative 40. Okay. Let's do the next one, which is 42. So again, negative 2n plus 10 is equal to negative 2 times 42 plus 10. So we owe $42 to this one person 2 times. So we now owe them a total of $84. Owing is negative, so negative $84 plus 10. And then I have $10 in my pocket, so what's my total? It is negative 74. So again, I would just pop those into my T table just to show my teacher I understand. When my term is 25, my value is negative 40. And when my term is 42, my value is negative 74. This is a little crooked. I'll just fix that. There you go. Okay. So we now are on to question 12. 5, 2, negative 1, negative 4, negative 7. Okay, so again, I'm just going to pop that right into my T chart. 5, 2, negative 1, negative 4, negative 7. I'm then going to ask myself, what is the difference between these terms? The difference between the terms of 5 and 2 is negative 3. The difference between 2 and negative 1 is negative 3. The difference between negative 1 and negative 4 is negative 3. The difference between negative 4 and negative 7 is negative 3. The difference between this number here and 5 will also be negative 3. So that means 5 plus 3 is equal to this number, which is 8. And I know that that is term 0. So what that means is the difference between my terms is negative 3. My variable is going to be n, and my term 0 is going to be positive 8. So again, all I have to do is put that into the expression box, negative 3 n plus 8. I will then use that expression to solve for term 25 and 42 as we have been doing. So negative 3 times 25 plus 8. So I owed somebody $25 3 times. So what that means is it's negative 75 plus 8. And then negative 75 plus 8 is negative 67. Okay. I am now looking for term 42. So again, 3n plus 8. I will then replace my variable with the term I'm looking for, negative 3 times 42 plus 8. I thought that this equation looked wrong, and it was wrong because I forgot to include my expression. But I did that. Okay, so 3 times 42 plus 8. Negative 3 times 42 plus 8. So negative 3 times 42 is negative 126. Plus 8 is equal to 118. Okay, so then I would put them into my T table. In my T table, when I see term 25, I know it's equal to negative 67. And when I have term 42, I know it's equal to negative 118. Awesome. So this next one is question 13. Negative 5, 15, 25, 35, 45. I would like you to pause the video at this time and go ahead and work on that one. And then we'll come back together once it's complete. So again, pause this video now. Get that work done and take a look at whether or not you are understanding or fully understanding these concepts. Pause now. Okay, so hopefully this is what you've come up with. You've noticed that the difference between the terms is -10. Okay, hopefully you remember that we use n as our variable. Again, you can change your variable if you'd like a different letter. That's perfectly okay. We're using n just because we like the name DiN0. And then term 0 would have a value of 5 because 5 minus 10 is -5. So you would have come up with an expression of -10n plus 5. This would have then helped you solve for term 25 and 42. So you would pop in 25 as your term and solve. So -10 n plus 5 equals -10 times 25 plus 5 equals -250 plus 5 equals -245. So in our t-chart, when the term is 25, our value is -245. Likewise, we would continue with 42. -10n plus 5 equals -10 times 42 plus 5 equals -420 plus 5 equals -415. So on our t table, when our term is 42, our value is 415. Okay, we're almost there. Question 14. So this is Drake being eaten by a dinosaur. Sorry, I thought that was really funny. Okay, so our pattern is 96, 92, 88, 84, 80. Again, this is a negative or a decreasing pattern, so it's a little bit harder than we're used to. But again, I encourage you to just try your best. It's math. I'm not expecting you to be absolutely perfect at this point. I'm asking you to just try your best and see what you can do. And if you have any questions, just ask me. So I'll ask you to pause your video at this point. Go ahead and try this math out and see how it works out for you, okay? So you are pausing this video now. So hopefully this is what you came up with. You might have noticed that the difference between the terms is -4. We are going to be using n as a variable, and our term 0 has a value of 100. So that would have allowed us to come up with the algebraic expression -4n plus 100. We would use that to solve term 25 and 42. After solving, you would find out that term 25 has a value of 0. And that term 42 has a value of -68. Awesome. So hopefully that's what you got. If you did not get that, please send me an email or ask me about it in class. We can work on that together. Okay, this is the last one. -10, -13, -16, -19, -22. Again, I'd like you to try these on your own just because I want to be sure that you are completely understanding. So at this point, this is where I'd like you to be pausing the video, going ahead and doing the work, and then unpause when you're ready just to verify your work. So pause the video now, please. Okay, so hopefully this is what you came up with. You notice that the difference between the terms is -3, that we're using the variable n, and that the term 0 gives us a value of -7. So we overall have an algebraic expression of -3n minus 7. So that'll give us -82 when our term is 25. And then when our term is 42, our value should be -33. Okay, so congratulations, you've survived all 15 questions involving DiNO. If you're still having a hard time with this, please let me know. I'm more than willing to help you and support you. Hopefully you figured out. If not, again, that's perfectly okay. This is just the beginning of algebraic expressions, okay, of our patterning and algebra unit. So hopefully you got it. And if not, again, let me know. All right, have a great night.